I probably shouldn't even be talking about this. I didn't even know the department had released the old bodycam archive. Someone must have uploaded it by mistake, a massive batch dump of old files, mislabeled, unreviewed. I started scrolling through them. Most of it was the usual stuff you'd expect. Late-night noise complaints, routine traffic stops, a few welfare checks. Nothing out of the ordinary. But then I opened bodycam file number 487. It starts exactly the way every routine call does. You see Officer Mason Hale stepping out of his cruiser. His voice is calm. His breathing is steady. It's a quiet residential street, late at night, with absolutely nothing happening. The kind of street where the only sound is the hum of a distant air conditioner. The dispatch note was simple. A neighbor reported hearing yelling inside a house, a possible domestic dispute. Standard procedure. Mason walks up to the front door, knocks, and identifies himself. "Police department," he says, his voice echoing slightly in the silence. He waits. Nothing. No answer. Not even a dog barking. After a moment, he decides to check the perimeter. He circles around to the side of the house, his flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. He shines it through a window, and that's when you hear the moment his voice shifts. It's not fear, not yet. It's pure, unfiltered confusion. "Dispatch, there's someone in there," he says into his radio. But on the camera, the room looks completely empty. Just a couch, a coffee table, a turned-off TV. Nothing. He calls dispatch again, his voice a little tighter now. He asks for backup. They tell him the nearest unit is about 12 minutes away. 12 minutes can feel like an eternity on a call like this. So he does what officers are trained to do. He continues to check the perimeter. Slow, methodical steps. Calm movements. He scans the yard, the bushes, the fence line. Everything seems normal, and then he freezes. The body cam tilts slightly as he turns his head toward the backyard. And standing there near the fence is a man. Same build, same haircut. Same police uniform, same face, it's him. A perfect copy. Mason's voice is quiet. "Hello?" The man doesn't answer. He doesn't even move. He's just standing there, his back slightly turned, as if he'd just been caught doing something he shouldn't have been. Mason takes a cautious step forward. The camera just catches the profile of the other figure, but it's unmistakable. It's Mason, or something wearing Mason's face. "Sir, can you turn around, please?" Mason asks, his training kicking in. The man finally does, and in that instant you can hear Mason stop breathing. It's that tiny, sharp inhale that doesn't quite make it all the way in. The sound of a mind trying to process the impossible. The two of them just stand there, staring at each other across the dark yard. Perfect mirror images. Identical in every single way except for one chilling detail. The other Mason isn't wearing a body cam. "Who are you?" Mason asks, and his voice cracks for the first time. The camera begins to tremble in his hand. The other Mason smiles, and it's not a friendly smile. It's not even a human one. It's more like someone is practicing the idea of a smile. It moves too slowly, stretches too wide, as if the muscles don't quite know the shape they're supposed to be making. It's profoundly wrong. Mason's hand instinctively reaches for his radio, and that's when the footage glitches. This isn't a normal glitch, not pixelation or static like you'd see from bad reception. The frames themselves seem to fold and warp, like the camera is being bent by something it was never built to understand or record. It's a visual distortion that feels physically impossible. When the image finally clears a second later, the yard is empty. The second Mason is gone. There's no movement, no sound except for Mason's breathing, which is now fast and ragged. He fumbles for his radio again. "Dispatch, I need backup asterisk, now asterisk," he says, and there's a quality in his tone I have never heard in any other body cam recording. It's a kind of primal fear, the kind that doesn't come from facing danger, but from recognizing that the rules of reality have just shattered in front of you. He starts backing away toward the house. He tries the front door again, rattling the knob. Still locked? He gives up and turns back toward the street, toward the safety of his cruiser. And that's when the footage catches someone walking up the driveway. The camera only sees the legs at first. Standard issue uniform pants, polished police boots, Mason's boots. They're moving with measured, deliberate steps, the way an officer walks when they are in complete control, when they already know how the situation is going to end. Mason slowly lifts the camera, his hands shaking, panning up toward the approaching figure, and the screen fuzzes out again. Another one of those impossible, reality-bending glitches. When it clears, the driveway is empty once more, but now the driver's side door of his cruiser is wide open. Mason just whispers, "No, no," and you can tell he already knows what he's going to see. He walks slowly toward the open door, his own footsteps sounding deafeningly loud in the silence. The inside of the cruiser is clean, untouched, exactly as he left it, except for one thing. His own patrol jacket is draped neatly across the driver's seat, folded, perfectly aligned, as if someone had carefully taken it off and placed it there. The radio on the dash crackles to life. A voice comes through, clear and calm. It's Mason's voice. "Unit 487, all clear here. Returning to station." But Mason is still standing outside the car, listening to himself, listening to a report he didn't make. He grabs for his own shoulder radio, trying to shout into it, to tell dispatch something is wrong, but the camera cuts out again, this time for several seconds of pure blackness. When the footage returns, he's running. A full sprint, back down the street, away from the house, away from his car. He's not an officer anymore. He's prey. He's terrified. He's not trying to de-escalate a situation. He's trying to survive it. The final 20 seconds of the recording are nothing but a blur of motion and the sound of his panicked breathing. He's running for his life. Then he suddenly stops. The camera stabilizes. He's standing in the middle of the street, staring at something just off-screen. He says one last thing, his voice barely an audible whisper. "That's not me." Then you hear it. Footsteps approaching from the darkness. Slow, steady, familiar. The sound of police boots on asphalt. The body cam drops, hitting the ground with a thud. The view is sideways, showing the street, a patch of grass, and a pair of boots stepping into the frame. His boots. But the legs aren't his. The figure bends down, reaching for the fallen camera. The last frame of the recording is a face filling the screen, Mason's face. But the eyes are wrong. They're too still, too empty, and yet somehow too aware. Then the recording ends. Officer Mason Hale never returned to the station that night. His cruiser did. His perfectly folded jacket did. His GPS tag did. and according to the official dispatch logs, his voice checked in again. 2 hours after he disappeared. The case was closed as an officer abandoning his post, but I saw the footage. I know what happened. And I know that whatever came back in that car, whatever is still out there with his face, it isn't Mason.